All right, welcome back, and it's time to get into episode 6 of Helstrom. And this episode is titled Leviathan. And quickly, let's go over the synopsis, and I'm going to break this episode down. So, a dark force creates a melee, forcing Hastings and Ana to work together. Daimon and Gabriella discovers the events of the Blood Hotels are connected. The demon's identity is revealed, shaking Ana and Daimon to their core. Yin gets the upper hand. So I feel like the synopsis really doesn't directly speak to everything that goes on the episode. Not even sugarcoating. I feel like it's a little off, but nonetheless, I'm gonna break down my thoughts of it and some of the things I thought were really important with this episode. But so we finally get to see a glance of their dad. He's always been either not present or he's been a shadow of him, as they do a flashback scene of when they were children, and basically just the nature of Victoria and their dad relationship within the house. How he was just very abusive. He came and went as he pleased, and she just kind of dealt with it. She was always supportive of him, no matter of the good and bad things that happened. But nonetheless, he was just the monster that he was. So that opening scene that they show is just super wicked, and it depicts him in human form as the true monster that he is. Also, we get a little bit of clarification between Ana and Yin. Now, Yin, obviously from the last episode, is now he's locked up in a hospital, and we seen that Ana was kind of prioritizing him when it came down to how they were going to go about retrieving the skull. And what was the next order of operations as to saving her mom? And Ana had pretty much put Yin first, which made me think that she was just going to be solely prioritizing him. But actually, she's not a pushover, as she made it very clear that hey, he something's up with him and he's not going nowhere. He needs to stay in this hospital. So I thought that was really cool to kind of iron that out, because I was hoping she wasn't going to go completely against the grain with the bigger pitch here, just because of her friendship with Yin. That yes, we're their business partners, but we didn't expect them to be tight like it was apparent to be last episode. Gabriella, on the other hand, now we're seeing an evolution in her involvement. She's going against the church. She doesn't listen to nobody, to be honest. She just for the many times that Daimon has told her to do something, she completely goes against that. But we're seeing the evolution of her character as far as the involvement with everything that's going on. Priests traditionally are the ones that give the last rites, and her nun in training, she did so in this episode. She was kind of like, well, this and that, so I'm going to do this. So we're starting to see how more and more that she's went from being a shadow and just a fly on the wall to everything, to actually being involved with the sake of how demons are going to be handled and possessions and all that other good stuff. So we're seeing how she's going to have her influence. Now, Ana obviously has a lot of resentment towards her mother. And with her mom, now present, her mom actually being present now that the demon is gone, I guess, to some extent, she's just still resentful for her. She doesn't want to make a connection. Hastings is like, hey, you need to, because everyone doesn't have this opportunity, and you need to make the best of it. And she's really just she's really reluctant to do so. And even when she decides to do so, I mean, there's a lot of animosity between with Ana towards her mom. Her mom, the first conversation they go about is the relationship with dad. Why did Victoria stay by his side? And why did she choose him and all this other stuff? Why didn't she stop him and all this other stuff? But Victoria, like many women who have been abused in their life or in relationships, most of them, they're the victims, and she was the victim here. And she said, I just stood by his side, and I loved him, and love make you do crazy things, and for the good and for worse, that she was just there for them. And it's a really sad story, and it's very true, and you see it so often in society. So when Ana and Victoria had that moment of there, and Ana as the child looking to her mom, like, why would you pick him? He's a monster. And she's like, well, because I loved him and I just wanted to see the good in him. And times she showed flashes of good, but then the monster always came back. And not like the monster, like figuratively, like literally the monster in him and how she treated. So like, I thought that was a really powerful scene, and Victoria still continues to be one of my favorite characters. Meanwhile, Daimon and Gabriella are doing their thing, and Daimon is having problems controlling his powers. And what I mean by that is not actually how to use them, but why he uses them and how he wants to use them. Again, he uses them to save people, not to hurt people. And we see him having some conflictions with that when Gabriella absolutely needs his help. So while they're away, the hospital's being attacked by the dad and the army of possessed people that they have, and we're seeing a lot of different things happen here. One, because we know that the army is trying to find the skull. They need the keeper in order to pretty much protect their dad demon to ever being compromised and never being taken down, shall I say. And meanwhile, while this is happening, we see Ana again showing off her ability to defend herself against them, as well as Hastings. And also with her defending Hastings get one of her first tastes of Ana's power. As when Ana puts her powers on display, Hastings has a ton of questions. She's like, whoa, what did you do? How did you do that? Because she's never seen Ana in this way. And Ana and Daimon are completely different in the forms of what powers they have and how they use them. So we get to see, Hastings pretty much being wild at the like, wait, what did you do? So that was really special. Not to mention too, Hastings apologizing to Ana here for not taking her in like she did Daimon. Ana's going through a lot emotionally throughout this entire series. If it's not one thing of another, the conversation she just had with her mom, now Hastings, who pretty much, I wouldn't say exiled her, but left her outside, shall I say, didn't invite her in the club. And now she's apologizing for it because Hastings never felt that Ana could be controlled. She knew she was dangerous because of the direct influence of her dad, but she never gave her a chance. So that was really, really interesting, them having that moment as well, too. But the most interesting thing with this episode goes back to Victoria. Victoria, as we're seeing her, the woman Victoria, not possessed, we're seeing her in situations we haven't seen her in. Before, she's usually, with her with her abilities and powers and all types of different things happening around her. But now she's just more or less emotional. She's unable to defend herself, and she's just quite frankly vulnerable. So, without her supernatural abilities here, it's kind of different to see her on the other side of this. And again, she's just killing this role. I absolutely have just been wowed by Victoria the entire time. And it's just one of my favorite characters. And I think that Elizabeth Marvel has just been, through 6 episodes now, definitely been must watch in every scene that she's in. But as I like to talk about, let me talk about the end of this episode real quick. So the final fight in this episode is, as the hospital is being attacked, the Helstrom siblings are together, the whole group's together, and they face their biggest foe yet. And with this final fight scene, I love the special effects. I really love the costume and makeup design with the demons, and when they show them, I think they're just really crisp and really well done. They're not spectacular with like a big budget on like a premium channel, should I say. It is much more like a standard cable channel, much like CW and stuff. But nonetheless, it's still really well done. And I really love how it's different too. I feel like there's a level of like a sinister look and feel to them. At the same time, too, it's not creating like an overbearing horror that you can't look at the screen. And then some of the other aesthetics with these demons, I think, are really well done. But I gotta say, there's a huge surprise at the end of this episode, and it left me with so many unanswered questions. I don't even know what to think next here. But my standout of this episode here is 6'7" Daniel Cudmore, who has played Colossus in the X-Men franchise, who plays Keith Spivey in this. Now, let me tell you, last episode, we see him completely devour this girl by eating her through the stomach. Like, this one of my favorite scenes of this entire series thus far. But this episode, he completely wreaks havoc. He's just the absolute standout in his menacing dominance in every scene that he's in. I mean, he just looks and feels the part here. So absolutely thought, with maybe little to no lines here, just his presence on the screen really gives you that big demon boss feel, and definitely enjoyable. Even when he walks, it just looks like, oh god, something's going to happen. So definitely enjoyed that. But anyway, that would do it for episode 6. Stay tuned because episode 7 review coming to you real soon.